Another NASCAR silly season domino has fallen as Todd Gilliland has signed a multi-year contract extension with Front Row Motorsports. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to the video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty major breaking silly season news as Todd Gilliland has signed a multi-year contract extension with Front Row Motorsports. Front Row Motorsports has announced that he has signed a multi-year contract extension with Todd Gilliland. The terms were not disclosed on how long the deal is, but I would imagine that deal is probably a 2 or 3 year extension. And the car number was not announced, but it's expected more than likely that Todd Gilliland is going to continue driving the 38 car once again in 2025. This has been expected that this was going to be announced. It was first reported by Jordan Bianchi that Front Row Motorsports was really close to signing an extension with Todd Gilliland going into next year. I am very, very happy to see this. I think Todd Gilliland has done an excellent and really good job of Front Row the last couple of years. And I know there was a lot of talk he wasn't even going to be back with the team at the beginning of 2023 after basically getting cut for 5 races, going over to Rick Ware, making 1 extra start with Front Row. But I'm really glad that Front Row is committed to being there and signing a multi-year extension with Todd Gilliland. But it's very interesting considering the fact that Michael McDowell could never get multi-year deals, and all of a sudden we're signing Todd Gilliland for multiple years, and we know Michael McDowell is going to Spire Motorsports in 2025. But Todd Gilliland has been doing a solid job this year. Over the last 4 or 5 races, Todd Gilliland, I think, has had 3 or 4 consecutive top 20 finishes, and he's been in the top 25 in points for a majority of the year so far. Obviously, with the Tier 1 alliance that Front Row Motorsports has, that has really helped Todd Gilliland's performance in a really, really big way. And with them getting more support and with them expanding to a 3-car team, I think it's only going to make Todd Gilliland's performance a lot better going into the 2025 season. So with Todd Gilliland signing this extension, what are my expectations over the course of the next couple of years? Well, the big thing for me is I want to see Todd Gilliland continue to grow as a driver at this organization. I want to see Todd Gilliland take over the leadership side of things. Todd Gilliland is only 23 or 24 years old, so he's got time to become that leader of the organization and team, and I think he's going to end up taking over the leadership role. I think Todd Gilliland is going to get better, and I wouldn't be surprised or shocked in the next year or two if he's contending for wins and is getting top 20s. He's got a 1 or 2 top 10s so far this year, so I expect him to really take that next step and get a lot better. And I think he could contend for a playoff spot going into the future. I think Todd Gilliland is a very great driver. He always gets the best out of his equipment. And he's been the best driver of that 38 car because the previous drivers of 38, guys like John Hunter Nemechek and Anthony Alfredo and even David Reagan, no disrespect to them, but Todd Gilliland's been outperforming them in every single way. But again, a lot of that is contributed to the fact that they've got that Tier 1 support, which has really been helping them in a huge way this year. And I think they're really starting to reap the benefits of it. Todd Gilliland's been performing a lot better, and Michael McDowell's also been performing a lot better this year as well. Now, we know for sure that Todd Gilliland is in one of those seats going into next year. What about the other 2 seats? Well, the numbers have not been announced, but the numbers that I speculate that are going to end up being used is the 34 and the 36 car. So who goes to those seats? Well, you have a lot of options. You do have Cole Custer. Cole Custer is expected to bring Haas Automation to whatever organization he goes to next year, and he's been linked as the front runner to go to the 34 car for 2025. Cole Custer, obviously, with SHR shutting down at the end of the year, he needs to find a ride going to next year. So Cole Custer is a name that's been heavily linked to go to the seat for 2025. You also have Riley Herbst. Riley Herbst brings sponsorship from Monster Energy. He's been linked to 23XI Racing as they're looking to be a 3-car team. Obviously, Kurt Busch isn't coming back at this point. But we know Riley Herbst has been linked to 23XI, but also Corey Heim is the favorite. But Riley Herbst, like I mentioned, brings sponsorship and funding to the table. So I could see him going here in 2025. You've also got Josh Berry. Josh Berry and Ronnie Chodes, I think, are going to be a package deal, and they're both wanting to work together once again in the 2025 season. I think that Josh Berry could be a frontrunner to go to one of these seats next year. What about Chase Briscoe? Ford really likes Chase Briscoe, and I think they really want him to go back to a Ford organization next year. He's been linked to JGR at one point, but I think that Chase Briscoe more than likely is going to end up with the Wood Brothers next season. You've also got Noah Gragson. Noah Gragson's been rumored to multiple organizations and teams, Joe Gibbs Racing being one of them, another one, of course, being Richard Childress Racing, with the rumors of them potentially expanding next season. And then, of course, you have the rumblings and rumors of him maybe going to Front Row if he can't find a ride there. And then you also have Ryan Preece as another option as well. Ryan Preece isn't bringing a lot of funding, though, so that's going to hurt his chance and opportunity to go there. And what about some outside drivers? Drivers like Matt DiBenedetto, perhaps, as a potential candidate. Matt DiBenedetto's back in the Ford system, but he does bring a lot of sponsorship and funding. What about Hailie Deegan? I know it sounds crazy, but Hailie Deegan does bring sponsorship and funding to the table, and I think Front Row would love to have someone that could bring sponsorship and funding to the table. But going back over to Todd Gilliland, I'm really glad to see that Todd Gilliland has gotten this extension out of the way. We've seen a lot of silly season dominoes fall at this point. Obviously, we know that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is returning to JTG Doherty. We know that Michael McDowell's going over to Spire. And I do expect there's going to be more silly season dominoes to fall in the coming months and weeks. It's going to be very interesting. But my prediction on the other two drivers, I think it's going to end up being Cole Custer and Josh Berry as the other two drivers that end up going to Front Row Motorsports in 2025. And I think they're going to move in the SHR building. It's heavily rumored that they're both going to end up over there next year. And the question is also on the truck program. I think most likely Lane Riggs is going to come back to Front Row. But I think Brett Moffitt, Matt DiBenedetto, and someone else that is in the Ford camp could be an option for that seat next year as well. We'll have to wait and see what happens in regards to that. But like I said, going back to Todd Gilliland, I'm glad to see that Todd Gilliland is going to be staying with Front Row Motorsports long term. I'm glad they're committed to him. They really like Todd Gilliland. He did the test yesterday in Indianapolis, and I'm glad to see that we finally know what's happening with Todd Gilliland going into next year. And now we just wait to see all the other dominoes fall. We're waiting to see what happens to track as to whether SVG is going to be there or Zane Smith is going to be there in that seat next year. We're wondering what's going to happen with the other drivers at SHR, that being Chase Briscoe, Noah Gragson. We also are waiting for other moves to happen because of the charter agreement getting finalized, but at the same time, going back to Todd Gilliland, I'm just happy to see that he's going to be back with Front Row Motorsports next year, and he'll be returning to the organization next year in 2025. We'll see how more dominoes fall, but glad to see that Todd Gilliland will be sticking around with Front Row Motorsports in the 2025 season. He deserves his contract extension. I think he's going to do great things with the team going forward. So that is going to be today's special breaking news report. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support my Patreon as well. Let's go to the below that and comment your thoughts below on today's video. What do you think Todd Gilliland is going to do with Front Row Motorsports in 2025? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I have a NASCAR news video dropping in the next couple of hours, and I also will have the Xfinity Series race picks, of course, for Sonoma. Tomorrow on the channel, we'll have the NASCAR Cup Series race picks for Sonoma, and I will also have the paint scheme video dropping. Friday, I'll have a NASCAR news video dropping, and I'll have a lot of great content dropping over the course of the next couple of days as we get you set up for Sonoma, and then we head to Iowa Speedway in the next couple of weeks. Got a ton of great content dropping that I cannot wait for you guys to check out. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.